On one hand, it's good that I don't have to play around with the microphone today. Anybody who's seen me read before knows I'm like notoriously bad with microphones and like adjusting them and everything. So we'll see if my voice carries. Thank you to everybody really for being here, but especially to students that I have that are here. I posted our little extra credit forum in my online courses. I didn't necessarily expect that there would be students, but that's how it goes. So I wasn't, when I picked what I was going to read tonight, I wasn't thinking with students in mind. Specifically students who might not really know me, and I don't. So my disclaimer is, and I'm sorry, this is all going to be like on your online.
I can always cut this out.
Come on. We edit both. My disclaimer is, if you don't like foul language, I mean, you can still get credit for not watching me. What I'm going to read today, so I have obviously one book there, and another that was just put on pre-sale today, and I can post the link in the There Will Be Words forum. But I'm going to read something today from neither of those two books. It's something I've been working on for maybe like 5 years or so, and it's what I keep calling my Great Orlando Novel. And this is the first time that I'll really have read anything from it aloud. And there's a section in the book that's is really, really bizarre, and I can't really explain it too well, other than to say there's probably like 100 to 150 pages where there are like a whole bunch of different point of views from different Orlando conquerors, people who throughout history have come to Orlando in some way to leave their mark. And so I have anything from Mayor Carl T. Langford in the 1970s to real estate developers in the 1920s. What I'm going to read right now is a chapter that I hope stands alone, and it's from the point of view of Dwight Howard. And it is just a chapter, so I just had to create this title. But the title is Dwight Howard Brings Christianity to the NBA. If you know who Dwight Howard is, you'll know that he was a central part of this city for many years, but that he also didn't necessarily live up to a lot of the things that he claimed he wanted to. So, all right. In practice today, you shattered a backboard, swatted into the stands a ball poorly shot by your tiny teammate, Jameer Nelson. You flexed afterward, and your muscles swelled, kept swelling until it seemed they'd overtake you entirely. Can a muscle swell so much that it explodes? You are Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard, #1 draft pick of the Orlando Magic, 20 years old and in love with your body. And when you order chicken fingers for every meal, even during your first fancy dinner with the general manager down here in Orlando, against the advice of your father who told you to order steak, everyone laughs. He's so funny, they say. Such a nice young man, they say. So clean cut, so well spoken. Movie star good looks. A big kid, joyful like a child. The next generation of athlete, superstar, celebrity crossover. Oh, Dwight Howard, he's a guy to be around. One second he's swatting basketballs and looking like the second coming of Shaquille O'Neal, and the next he's quoting Samuel L. from Pulp Fiction, Ezekiel 25:17, and you will know I am the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon you. Or he's ripping a ball from its midair trajectory and then holding it up like Mufasa from Lion King, singing the theme from the movie, everyone laughing. We are building this franchise around you, son, you were told on draft night. And though it's been slow going here in your first 2 years in the NBA, everyone agrees. You have so much talent. The sky's the limit, etc., etc., etc. If there's a sports cliche about potential, you've heard it. Tell me something I don't know, you think, but don't say, because you're also thinking, nah, keep telling me what I love to hear. When you palm a basketball and hold it skyward, people gasp. They literally gasp at your wingspan, perhaps the same way that some old British explorer might have gasped at his first rhino sighting. You are a specimen, an evolutionary marvel, and it doesn't seem possible even to you, this body. But, of course, there is the problem of humility. After draft night, you spoke with the national media about setting an example, being a role model, spreading Christianity through the league. The city of Orlando, especially its old school Baptist element, seemed to have a collective spiritual orgasm. It was 2004, and the NBA was mired in a publicity nightmare with its thuggish, ruggish superstars. Allen Iverson, Ron Artest, Latrell Sprewell strangling his coach, Rasheed Wallace in his Fuck What You Heard t-shirt, the entire Portland Jailblazers team, and Kobe Bryant simultaneously raping women and cheating on his wife, and yet held up as an exemplar because, in the words of rapper Lloyd Banks, he moved from basketball court to the courtroom. And these Orlandoans were all like, somehow we are gifted with a role model as our star player? Perfect. Afterward, though, you thought about what a mistake it was to open your mouth with such a decree. Spread Christianity through the league. That was your father speaking. That was you playing by his rules, trying to do what he would do. But you were 18 when you were drafted, when you were made a millionaire overnight, and come on, you had to say something grandiose. You just didn't realize how hard it would be to live up to that promise. Because you had to celebrate, too. Just a pinch of sin for the newly minted millionaire. First, in your hometown of Atlanta. Then, before ever playing a game, you had to see Orlando when the sun went down. Orange Avenue downtown, the bars, the clubs. You promised yourself that you'd never become a stereotypical baller, but you wanted a taste of the baller lifestyle, just a taste. A club owner lifting the velvet rope and bringing your table a bottle of champagne on the house. A night that would feel like a rap video in the making. This is something your father wouldn't have allowed, something the church women and the Orlando elementary schoolers you visited would have looked down upon. All of them would be disappointed with the way you were thinking, with what you were thinking, the lusty, pornographic fantasies multiplying inside your mind when you took your first look at photos of Orange Avenue on a Saturday night and imagined yourself motorboating through a sea of boobies. Oh man, everyone disappointed, but you wanted to be you. Not some brand predetermined by all these other people, by some statement about Christianity that, I mean, you couldn't take that statement back, you know? It was a part of you, but just a part. So you stormed out to the clubs on Orange Avenue, fueled by testosterone and sinful thoughts, and you rolled thick with men you didn't know, men hired to watch and handle you. Even then, before ever playing a single NBA game, the world recognized you wherever you went. It took just 10 minutes on the street before this happened. A tiny girl with fake boobs and shiny crimson hair, a Lil' Kim look-alike, white skirt so short that her ass bounced out as she ran to you, jumped into your arms and wrapped her fingers around your neck and told you she loved you. And oh my God, you're so big, so big, so big. Each big directed at a different muscle that she was tracing with her fingertips. And she didn't seem to mind that you were staring down into her tits as they pressed against your chest. There in your arms, the girl light as a basketball, her skin touching yours, and you were damn near drooling, and you forced yourself to say, "No, baby, I'm a good Christian boy." And she plopped down out of your arms, her breasts gliding across your forearms, and she said, "Oh, boo, I thought we could have some fun." Good Christian boy. Because here was the other thing about Orange Avenue. It wasn't just bars and clubs and glitter and shots and fake tits. It was also church people. A spread out cluster of church people at the corner of Orange and Central, all holding poster boards with messages like Jesus saves and hell is forever and you are pornography. A few of them old, 50 or 60, with gray beards and goatees and veins that popped out of their forearms, grizzled and weathered like they did this every single Saturday, and yet still woke up early for church on Sundays, maybe even set up all the AV equipment and organized the chairs for the Sunday school classes. Then there were kids, too, 18 and 19, same age as you, looking more tentative than the old men in charge, but yet they were still here. None of them saying a word to the crowds passing around them and through them. The streams of people drunk and disruptive and arguing with them. "You fucking think I'm going to hell, you fucking prick, huh?" Cops a block away, the only thing keeping the sinners from pushing or shoving the church people. And yet the church people remained quiet as they held their posters, didn't say a word to you or anyone else. But they recognized you. That night you learned how big you were, how big. Not just big lats and big pecs, not just big legs, big cock, but big, big, big. Biggest celebrity in town, face of a franchise, face of an entire city. And you knew that you couldn't enjoy it. Not really. There were the church people who recognized you, yes, but you were quickly attracting a crowd out here on Orange Avenue. And my God, where could you go in Orlando where you wouldn't be mobbed? Where these little girls wouldn't jump into your arms and pout their lips and shake sex in your face? Where the bros and the dudes and the frat stars wouldn't crowd around and try to bump your fists and tell you they believed in magic? Black guys giving you head nods like they were the cool ones who actually knew you, and the white guys were posers. You were 18 and wanted to have fun, and that first night, when you seemingly flew like Superman down Orange Avenue, you came to the realization that you couldn't enjoy any of this because it all ran counter to your already established brand, and you couldn't be two things at once. You were 18, and everything was determined for you. Or maybe not. Maybe no one would notice. One little maybe. You leaned down to Lil' Kim and whispered in her ear, "Tonight, baby, I'll be a sinner. Tonight and tonight only." The girl looked into your eyes, joy flooding her face, back arching and tits perking up. This was the power you had. She tried to answer and couldn't, mouth open but shocked to silence. She jumped onto you as a joke, but had never expected, oh God, had never expected that maybe you'd really, oh God, this is happening. "I got a room at the Marriott tonight," you whispered, "the one over by the arena. Bring a couple of your closest friends. If I'm going to sin, I'm going to sin big." You shed your entourage, your handlers, told them you were sleepy, and you hightailed it back to the hotel. This was how it would be? Not so bad. So you couldn't go to the club, so you couldn't be seen in the streets without the church people recognizing you. No big deal. You could still get your dick sucked pretty easy. Not a bad life, Dwight. Brighten up. So you waited there in the hotel room, 11 p.m., midnight, watching reruns of Law & Order and dreaming of wild end-of-the-world sex with a room full of porn stars. 1 a.m., 2 a.m. There was no other Marriott by the Amway Arena, was there? At this point you barely knew the town, hadn't yet purchased your castle in Castleberry. Maybe you'd made a mistake. Your mother was at your new rental condo until you could find that right house, so you couldn't bring an orgy back there. It had to be here. Make it easy for everyone. Maybe you'd even shatter a mirror or destroy a TV. Your first night as a rock star. Do your best Mick Jagger voice. Recite some lines from This Is Spinal Tap. That could be fun. But 2 a.m. And it occurred to you that if you'd given them the wrong hotel name, oh God, a troop of hot bitches slinking into the wrong hotel, all flesh and hot sex ready to go, and then someone else got to scoop it up. You hid your boner, walked down to the counter. "Mr. Howard," the clerk said, starstruck. "I never even saw you come in." "Been here a while," you said. "Must have been a shift change." "What can I do for you, sir?" He was transfixed. You could have asked him to go wander into I-4 traffic, and he'd have done it happily. "I'm expecting someone." You told him your room number, asked if there were any messages. "Actually, yes," he said. "Someone left a message not long ago. I was on break." "A message?" "Oh, hell yeah. Hope." The clerk handed you a small envelope with a handwritten note inside. "So sorry," the message said. "I couldn't do it. You're too important, Dwight. We need you to be Dwight Howard. I couldn't ruin that. You're our everything. This city, all of us. Be good. All my love." Couldn't ruin that? Be good? All my love was not the same thing as a good hard fuck. Not the same thing at all. Ain't an 18-year-old man in the world who wants an all my love note instead of titties in his face. You shook your massive head, knocked your hand into the edge of the counter, and set off an explosion of pain in your forearm. Your body felt silly suddenly, too gigantic for the world. So much strength, and you couldn't even stand up straight in a normal-sized room. You crumbled the note. "Thank you," you told the clerk. "Can I do anything else for you?" Just, you closed your eyes. "Don't tell anyone I was down here." "Of course, but, well, I was wondering if I could get a signature. I won't tell anyone where and when I got it." You tried to smile, and you tried to oblige with happiness in your eyes, but the act of signing the scrap of paper he gave you. You were 18, and this should have been everything you could ever dream of. So why did, even then, before you played a single game with the Orlando Magic, why did this feel like the worst kind of chore, like the world had already turned against you? Thank you.